Welcome to another episode of Licensed RPGs. This episode is taking a look at another RPG Maker game simply titled Kayne Quest 3030, a short little turn-based RPG about Kayne West. But I'll be brutally honest, I think this game doesn't live up to all of the hype surrounding it. Well, I guess I'll explain that as I work through the categories of story, graphics, sound, and gameplay. Story-wise, Kayne Quest begins with Kayne West getting up to take his trash out, and then subsequently falling through a wormhole. After that, you find yourself in the future and decide to take down a false god of rap. And while the plot may have a few ideas taken from the staples of old sci-fi shows such as cloning and wormholes, it lacks any real explanation for why you should take down this false god of rap beyond the fact that he's a clone and rules over America, but it never makes a case for his leadership being a bad thing. In fact, the game even seems to imply that the only reason to take him down at all is because he is a clone. This is even worse when you consider the fact that most of the dialogue in this game simply exists to perform plot dumping. Because of the nature of the dialogue, the only thing that separates the characters from each other is their names, since they otherwise fill the void of any sort of distinguishing characterization. I'd even go so far as to say this is worse than the usual problem of RPGs having characters that feel so similar to each other that the games themselves lack any sort of unique identity in the grand scheme of things. In fact, the only thing that gives this game any sort of unique identity at all is that the playable characters and most of the enemies are famous rappers. Generally speaking, the game feels dysfunctional in my opinion. The tile sets, animations, and sprite work feel rather standard for RPG Maker, but most of the enemies are simply disembodied heads that appear to be photoshopped from actual pictures of the rappers they are meant to represent. This leaves the game with a highly conflicting look that is simply impossible to ignore. Sound-wise, the game also suffers a bit because of the random inclusion of Kanye's voice. On the other hand, the background music does work rather well and has a decent amount of variety to it, albeit it can suffer from an awkward pause before battle begins if you don't hit the Z key as soon as possible. Though I also feel this area is also helped out a little bit by the fact that the game includes volume controls, which is a rarity for games created using RPG Maker based on my own personal experience. Combat-wise, the game is largely your standard turn-based affair with random encounters. On the downside, your character has access to many powerful rap skills that don't require SP, making combat far too easy once you've acquired a full party. This problem even pops up with the bosses since you can make them entirely helpless before you. Another slight annoyance for me with this game is that you are unable to run while inside of buildings. And while most of the game does take place on roads and whatnot, it's sort of annoying to move at half your normal speed when you walk inside of one of the cloning facilities, shops, or buildings that contain the bosses. But the only positive offer is that you can save anywhere and at any time. Overall, Kayne Quest 3030 is a disappointing game that is in need of some serious work in multiple areas. As it stands, I can't really recommend this game unless you're curious and have an hour or so to kill, although once you know how the game works, you can easily beat it in under 30 minutes.